Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
Oh, you're going for the Grover sound, I think.
Grover.
Going by co-host. Maybe not Grover, maybe Macho Man. That was more Macho Man, maybe. Oh.
You do Macho Man and I'll do Hulk.
Okay, brother. To the cream of the crop. I rose to the top.
Hey,
ooh, yeah.
Do you follow him on Twitter?
Macho Man is long
No,
dead.
not Macho Man. Hulk Hogan.
No, I don't. Hulk Hogan is not a good person.
He's not a good person, but he is hilarious. You know, he has a down in Clearwater Beach. He's got a restaurant that he hosts karaoke.
Orange.
No, he hosts a karaoke contest I think it's weekly. And he promotes it with his son, whatever his name is. And they're like, "Oh, brother, you can't sing like I can, brother. All those locals think they're the best, and I'm here to tell them they're not." And he does the thing, and he does.
Let
the
me
Hulk
tell you
Hogan.
something, Mark. It's a new month. That means new music. So let's get off of this. We've driven so many people away so early in the episode. Stick around.
Anyways. It's a new month, which means new theme, which also means new music here on the podcast. And we want to give a big shout out to the Montreal, Canada alternative pop trio. That's a mouthful. Say it 3 times fast.
3 times fast.
Group project with their song. And so it's not a new song, but it's their song. And it's maybe their most popular song. But it's MCK, and those are abbreviations, and I don't know what it means, but the song is called MCK.
Okay.
And so you can find their music wherever you get your music from. Hit the show notes, get all the links to all their social media accounts. They're doing big things. We appreciate them allowing us to use their music here on our podcast. Jeff.
Hi.
Please tell us what the theme of the month is.
So the theme of the month is movies based on toys or featuring toys. So we said it could be like Toy Story, even though those aren't actual toys, or it could be G.I. Joe, which doesn't have toys in it, but it's based on toys. We made it loose enough where Mark will actually be able to hit the target for once.
I almost had a very raunchy, that's what she said.
What would it have been? You missed the opportunity, and I don't know why you did that.
I don't know. You said loose enough, and I was going to say that's what she said.
I'm glad you didn't. It wasn't very good. We watched Real Steel from 2011, starring Hugh Jackman and Evangeline Lilly, as well as Anthony Mackie, and also Dakota Goyo, who is a young boy in this film, as well as Kevin Durand, who I don't see him in a lot, but when he shows up, he's always excellent.
He's always the bad guy.
Yeah, and he's always great.
James Rebhorn is in this.
Yeah, whatever. He's old and no one cares. What I want to say about Kevin Durand, and an underrated role in an otherwise pretty poop picture, is when he played the Blob in the Wolverine movie.
Oh, yeah.
With Hugh Jackman. But he was the Blob in that, and he was so good as the Blob. I thought,
Thank you for that. A little bit of trivia here on the podcast. Anyways, this film is directed by Shawn Levy. What is your history with Mr. Shawn Levy?
Did he direct anything I've seen?
Probably. Let's go through it.
I haven't watched Arrival yet. I should, but I haven't watched it.
He directed the Adam Project, which is a Netflix original. Before that was Free Guy.
Haven't seen it.
Night at the Museum, Secret of the Tomb.
I've seen the first Night at the Museum. I've seen Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He directed one episode.
How about
I've seen Date Night.
Okay.
I have seen Date Night. That's
he directed the
flick.
original Night at the Museum.
So I've seen that as well. But I will say he has not left much of an impression on me. None of these films are any that I would come running back to take another peek at.
Well, I mean, I think he's kind of in that J.J. Abrams, Steven Spielberg disciple mix, right? So Steven Spielberg executive produced Real Steel here. To how much he was involved, I don't know. But his name pops up in the credits, so take that for what it is.
Yeah.
But he's also he's a sci-fi. This guy Shawn Levy is a sci-fi director, I guess, here in his later director life. And I saw Free Guy. Free Guy was pretty good. And
I've heard good things, and it seems like the type of movie I'd watch, but I haven't. I only watch movies for podcasts now.
Right. The Adam Project was really good. Both Free Guy and the Adam Project was Ryan Reynolds, and then isn't he directing the latest? No, he's not. Oh yeah, he is. Deadpool 3. So.
So Hugh Jackman's back for that as well. Him and Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
They like each other, I guess. What's
Yeah.
not to like about Hugh Jackman, though?
Come on. Who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman? Like, this guy, Shawn Levy's got it made.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Is that movie going to be rated R? Disney going to let him do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's what I've read.
Yeah.
But anyways.
So have you seen Real Steel before this?
Yeah, I saw it a long time ago when it came out, I think. Honestly, when I first saw it, I just... I didn't think much of Hugh Jackman because honestly, before, this isn't the height of Hugh Jackman's Wolverine days, right?
Yeah.
So, that's his most, and that's why that's really what got Hugh Jackman on the map was Wolverine, and so he started getting cast in a lot of different things because of it, and I think this is one of them. And I saw it when it came out, and I just remember being like, okay, well, let's go. That's all right. What about you?
I saw the trailers and was like, oh, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Never going to watch that. I just didn't care. Now, I had heard good things. Like, the people who did see were like, no, it's fun, but it was just not appealing enough to me to draw me in to actually sit down and watch it until I drafted it like a knucklehead.
Like a knucklehead.
I don't know if that's going to... no, I did not hate this. It doesn't do anything special, much like the back catalog of Shawn Levy to me. This is another movie I'll have watched and been like, that was fun, and put it away. And I don't ever see myself coming back to it. But it was fun enough.
I don't like Hugh Jackman in this, right?
Okay. Well, he does play one of the worst fathers in the world.
Right. All time bad.
I mean,
dads.
Outside of being abusive, I would say he's about the worst dad you can be without being seen as abusive.
He literally sells his biological child.
He's an absentee father for sure.
Yeah. I just and this it is probably on purpose, but Hugh Jackman is a extremely likable character or actor. And he typically plays good guys, right? And he's a good guy here. But his character is appalling, right? He's in it for himself, and I didn't like the decision to, I guess, cast Hugh Jackman as this type of character. Cast him as write the character as a down on his luck type character.
Well, he is down on his luck.
Well, no, but like I didn't know I had a son type, guy. You don't need to make him.
He had a son. He had abandoned him on purpose.
Right, but I'm saying that the writers of this film, which has 3, and that's a sin of all sins in film, is when you have more than 2 writers, but it's a testament to how it comes together. But here, but like, I just don't understand casting Hugh Jackman in this role and making him as unlikable as he is because he doesn't really redeem himself at all.
It's kind of a weird redemption arc where, like, I would say he does redeem himself to some degree, But it almost feels like the wrong reasons, right? So like he's not really into his son, but then once his son is able to make him money, then he's into him.
Right.
Right? Because up until this point, the only thing that Hugh Jackman's character wants is money to pay back debts. He kind of really reminded me of Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems, where he's just always gambling away his money, making really stupid decisions. Like at no point in the first act of this film, or even into the second, really, do you see any value out of Hugh Jackman. He blows all his money on bets, bad bets. He doesn't take any advice from anyone. And he's an absentee father. And then when his son does come around, he treats him like shit. And the only reason he's hanging out with him is because he's going to get $100K.
And it's not until I think not halfway, but a little less than halfway through the movie that we find out that Hugh Jackman was this former heavyweight boxer. And so we don't even get to really figure out the reason why.
I really hated that arc. Like the whole thing of like, I don't box anymore. And then in the finale where he's like, Dad, you got to do the mirror mode and show. No, I can't. I won't. I'm like, why the fuck not? Like, you did it to train the robot, right? There's several scenes in this movie where he's training the robot to box and doing boxing and using his boxing know-how to win robot fights. It didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why would you? It's just this weird thing that's hanging over the movie that didn't make sense to me. And like,
well, there's so little of it, so little is made of it that it's like, why aren't we told this? Why wasn't this story told differently if he's this former heavyweight boxer, which obviously boxing isn't a thing anymore because they have these robots, but like human boxing. But I didn't understand introducing that element at almost the halfway point of the movie and just being like, ha. He's a former heavyweight boxer, so he can tell Adam.
I mean,
how
they
to
did
fight.
kind of talk about it a little bit, and him being trained by Evangeline Lilly's dad and all that. So it wasn't just like out of the blue.
But it's an exposition dump when you didn't need to dump it, right? You didn't need to have all of that information in one scene to just kind of tell you why he's there and to bring you back up to speed, and then to set forth the rest of the film. It essentially foreshadows the final sequence of the film, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that his character is reduced to this like shyster, right? He's just this guy that is just going around really stealing money from people, or trying to, and we don't ever really know why until halfway through, and I just I didn't like it.
So, the movie features robots fighting, which is why I picked the film, because it's Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Yeah. Loosely based.
Yeah, I think it's inspired by it, but I personally would say it hits the theme. I think, no, well, not even that, but they are remote controls. They're essentially toys. They're just big ass toys.
Yeah,
so,
no, I'd say you hit the theme.
Yeah. Well, it'd be funny for you to say something like that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I'm in a mood tonight. And the more we talk about this movie, the less I like it. But, so how do you feel about the action sequences? Robot on robot mayhem.
For 2011, and we're talking almost 13 years ago now. I thought the CG is really good here in this film, and I enjoyed more so. I enjoyed the final. I enjoyed the Japanese robot fight where he gets decapitated and all that. And then the final fight, where he's fighting Adam's fighting the whatever robot. I I did think the fights are entertaining, and I think that's what redeems a lot of this film. And the fights are fine. Yeah, it's a boxing movie, right?
Okay, best boxing movies of all time. We're talking Rocky and Creed, right? I mean, nothing tops those.
No, right? Those are on your Rushmore.
What the hell else is there? Raging Bull, which I've never seen.
Cinderella Man is really good.
Okay.
Southpaw is really good. The Creed movies are really good.
That's what I said.
Creed, yeah.
Rocky and Creed.
Yeah, four faces on a Rushmore. That's fine.
Yeah, whatever. So here's the thing, and the problem for me with this movie, comparing it to Creed or Rocky, is that I don't care about your robot.
Yeah,
I don't care. And our main robot doesn't mean a thing to me, right? It's a robot, and it doesn't.
Well, that's so
when it's in the ring and it's getting its ass kicked, and they're all like, "Get up, Adam, get up!" and everybody's yelling at the damn robot that doesn't have ears, "Get up!" I just don't care. It's not the same as a human having the will to push through.
Right.
As a robot that doesn't have pain receptors being told to get up. It's like, are you malfunctioning enough not to get up? It's not the same. And I just there's Evangeline, the Lilly's in the crowd yelling at the robot, "Get him, put your hands up." I don't know. It just, it was a level of disbelief I wasn't able to get behind.
Well, I also think, so the little bit backstory here on the robot that Hugh Jackman and his malign kid are using. It's Adam. Its name is Adam, and they find it in a junkyard scrap heap after the kid almost dies, and he salvages it, and they use different parts from the Japanese robot, and it's a sparring robot. And so if you know anything about boxing, sparring is where you're going probably like 80%, and you're just working on different things. And so I guess this robot is designed to take a ton of hits, and not.
Which I appreciated that part of the story, where maybe this is an ancient model of robot that can kind of hang because it is so durable. It can sort of outlast other robots. So I appreciated that believability. Like, I didn't have a problem believing that this robot was able to hang with the best of the best. It was like, I think that the movie did a good job establishing those things.
Yeah, and and there's a whole it's not a montage. It is a montage. Where Hugh Jackman, after we learn that he's a former heavyweight fighter, is teaching the robot how to box, and I guess be an offensive fighter instead of purely defense, which is what the sparring robot is designed to do. And I that part, like you, I was on board with, and the final fight is it's really good as far as formulaic boxing goes, I guess. I mean, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't do anything brand new.
So I'm watching it, and I'm thinking to myself, are they going for the Rocky 1 ending or the Rocky 2 ending?
Right.
And they went for Rocky 1 because honestly, there's only two ways. The only way it couldn't have been Rocky is if he just fucking gets destroyed, which wouldn't be a good movie. Like, your whole time you're rooting for the hero, and he just goes in there and gets destroyed in half a second. So it was either he gets the what's the term, moral victory, where it's
he wins by decision, or no, he
doesn't win.
I know. But you're describing. You're trying
Rocky
to say
1,
he gets the moral victory. Got it.
Right. In Rocky 1, he loses. Right. Rocky loses to Creed.
Yeah.
But everybody's like, man, you went 12 rounds. That's basically a win. No one expected you to do this. Or in Rocky 2, he finally beats Creed.
Right.
So they went for Rocky 1, it's basically the same thing. It goes to a decision, but everybody's like on board with stupid robot. And the other thing is, I didn't like the villain in this movie is not great. I really honestly think that, so they have this sort of just uptight rich woman who runs the boxing league is the villain. Honestly, I think you recast her with the fucking Kevin Durand and run it back, because Kevin Durand is appropriately like evil, but he's charismatic, right? That's the thing. I don't think that the lead in the, not the lead, but the villain in this, I don't think she's charismatic enough to kind of carry the scenes that she needs to, and isn't fun enough of a villain to watch. Whereas Kevin Durand is fun when he's on screen, but you kind of still hate his guts, and you wanted to see him get what's coming to him. I love the interaction between him and Anthony Mackie, where he starts using like slang and stuff, and he's clearly being racist in a subtle way, and I just appreciated that arc when the bet falls through and Anthony Mackie comes and gets him, and he gets his comeuppance. That works for me. And I think it's because the charisma of those actors works. When he does show up to get his money back from Hugh Jackman, and you're like, this guy is a loose enough cannon where I think he would beat up a kid. And they just buy him as a villain because he's so filthy.
Okay, so good segue. Speaking of kid, what did you think of Dakota Goyo?
He was
here
fine.
As Mexican.
Not offensive really at any point, but also not Haley Joel Osment, so
yeah,
he was just kind of did his job, I think. So at the end of the movie, there's this emotional scene that takes place, which usually works for me in like boxing movies, like the ending of, fucking Rocky or whatever. Actually more Creed than anything, and I think it worked to a degree here. But he's got to like cry on command, and he does an okay job. His eyes water up and a tear runs down. I don't know. I can't cry on command, but, he does a good job. I have no complaints.
Yeah. That scene that you're speaking of, it worked for me. I'm a sap in my old age. So
me too. Like, I got a little like, ooh,
yeah,
feel
right,
things.
Right. So, and that's fine if the movie had done a better job of maybe Hugh Jackman's redemption arc, right? But it's only until the last, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the film. And this is not a brisk film, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
It is. It's over 2 hours, and it honestly, it feels over 2 hours, and which is not a good thing in my opinion for this type of movie. And
this feels like a $1.45 style film.
Right. And so you feel those extra minutes, and they didn't. The writers didn't really do Hugh Jackman any justice by trying to fill the space with him kind of like, it's just a bunch of filler, right? He's constantly losing, bets and this, and he just, it's, I don't know.
I know. So here's
the movie was too long.
So let's do this. Let's recast this. What if we recast it and we get Adam Sandler in there? Because all the shit you don't like about this Hugh Jackman character is all the shit that Adam Sandler does in Uncut Gems.
Okay.
He's actually
I never said Adam Sandler was a good character in Uncut Gems.
Well, what I'm saying is if we recast them, although he's not a boxer, he's just a schlub. So I don't know that it would work. But I mean, okay, so who do you put in that place then as Hugh Jackman's place? Someone who is physical enough to do the job, but because to me, the reason the ending works is because Hugh Jackman is likable.
Yeah.
And it's easy for us as the audience to kind of get back on board with him because we already love the guy,
But I'm saying, like, if Hugh Jackman was and I don't know this, but I'm just speculating. If the idea was to write this film for Hugh Jackman, which I don't know, maybe, I don't understand why you would write this film like that. Write it to where he's this former boxer who is he's lost everything. His wife's dead. He didn't like the son he gave up, and he's just trying to climb his way back up, and he gets reintroduced to his son, and then they bond over a shared love of
That's
boxing,
what
right?
happens in the movie. So you've explained the plot of the movie.
No. I'm saying don't make Hugh Jackman, don't write the character like it was written here.
So
write it to where he's not fixated on money. He's just trying to get back up on his feet. And I understand. I'm describing the overall generic
that's
plot.
what happens in the movie.
Okay, all right. You want to go?
Back.
No,
Sure. Let's fucking do this.
No,
I ain't scared.
You describe how you would change this movie, and I'll fucking shut up. I'll just fucking shut up.
Oh man, how many episodes in are we?
I'll just fucking shut up.
Is this the end?
I don't know. I know you're like, oh, that's what fucking happens in the movie.
But that's what happens in the movie.
You just described the fucking movie.
The
blah,
movie
blah, blah.
is a guy who's down on his luck. He owes a bunch of people money. And
no, I'm saying don't write it that way. Don't write it to where he owes a bunch of fucking people money. Write it to where he's just trying to find his relevance again. Without the fucking gambling debt and without the,
my problem isn't the gambling debt. So if you ask me how I fix it, have him just not be so shitty to his son. I understand that I
don't understand why his son's here.
Well, because the mom died, but
who cares?
And he's the legal guardian.
Who cares about the son? There's no point for the son.
There is too. The movie doesn't happen without the kid.
But it can.
This is a classic episode of the movie Draft House. Just go back in the library and look at the last time we've hurt each other's feelings.
No, I'm saying you didn't hurt my feelings. I'm saying this movie absolutely can happen without the son. Is you just put everything on Hugh Jackman. You don't make anything about the son. You make it to where Hugh Jackman is the redemptive arc, and he finds this beat up old sparring bot, and he teaches it how to fight, and then he puts the bot into the fighting, and then he wins the fight. We don't need the son. Nobody needs the son. It doesn't need to happen that way. The love interest, Evangeline Lilly, she can still exist.
Oh,
she can still be in the audience.
Nice of you.
I'm just saying the movie doesn't need to exist how it does.
Nothing does, though. What are we talking about? The whole movie doesn't need to exist.
You came into this episode wanting to fight.
I did not. I didn't think we were going to get.
No, you did.
I did not.
At the top of the episode, you're like, I'm in a fucking mood.
Did I say that?
Yes, you did.
Don't edit it back in. Like, don't take something I said later and put it up top. I don't remember saying that, but I'm not in a fighting mood, and I honestly would have to find a movie I care more about than Real Steel to want to fight, Like, I don't know, Drive Angry. Oh, God. But I don't think the kid is the problem. I think the way he treats the kid is the problem. I think he is so far gone as a human, and his arc only turns around not because he loves his son. I mean, he starts to, but that's only because his son starts making him money, right?
Yeah.
It isn't even that his son's around all the time. They high five over the robot. And this is the only thing they share is this love of the robot and winning boxing matches. And it's because I'll put it this way. My son and I don't have all the same interests. We have some similar interests. But me as the dad, I decided, my son likes Pokemon. I'm going to try to get into Pokemon. That way I can have something to share with him. I made a sacrifice. He didn't need to be into pro wrestling, right? I'm the dad. I'll make the change so I can have a shared interest. The whole thing is that Hugh Jackman, his son falls in line with what he wants. And that's what turns him around. And that's my problem, because if this kid fucking sucks at robots, or the kid is into chemistry or fucking ballet or anything other than robots smashing each other, the movie doesn't end the same way. He goes back with his aunt and old ass uncle, and that's it, right? That's kind of my problem. He's not, even with the redemption, he's still not that great, because I don't think what he does is all that honorable.
It's not.
Because he's like, hey, and the other thing is, they get the big fight, and he returns to get his son. If they don't get that big fight, what do we know, right? Does he come back, or does he go on living his shitty life? I don't think that the character actually has a positive arc. And I really don't like the callback to I'll keep your secret, where the little boy believes that this robot has some consciousness, and I'll keep your secret. And then at the end of the movie, Hugh Jackman is like, I just want to tell you. And he's like, it's okay. I'll keep your secret. No, fuck that. You've been an absentee father this whole time. Tell your son that you love him. I don't know. I can't get behind the character. No, he won't. He doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Because his son interrupts him or whatever. And I'll keep your secret. Why would that be a secret? That's the whole problem, is there's this unspoken, well, he doesn't love him to begin with. And he's an inconvenience when he comes back into his life. He doesn't ever feel remorse for the way he treated his son until late into the movie. But at that point, he actually needs his son to finish what he's doing, because his son is such a big part of the robot fight. I don't think that the character is redeemed by the end of the film.
Yeah, so that brings me to the problem of having three fucking people write a screenplay, right? Is just that you get flashes of decent storytelling, okay? Like the robot arc. I enjoyed Adam's essential story here, even though it's a nonverbal character.
Yeah, it's a rags to riches sort of classic Rocky style thing.
Right. But like then you have all the disjointed stuff, even though Kevin Durand and Anthony Mackie's parts were enjoyable, they're largely not needed. And so they don't really serve a purpose other than being kind of just these side characters.
But they're some of the best parts.
Right.
Like,
sure.
Don't take them out.
Sure. No, but like that's what I'm saying is that like the film feels disjointed in the story it's trying to tell, and I think that's evident. And I will go to my grave thinking that if you have more than two people writing a screenplay, you fucking failed already. Because I've yet to see a film that has more than two people writing the screenplay that's good. And if it exists, I ain't seen it. And if I've seen it, I'll deny it.
Yes, that is the truest thing you've said. You will deny the truth to just remain right. Go back and listen to Hell or High Water or whatever the fuck that movie was called.
Anyway, Jeff, do you recommend this film?
No, this is, I like it less now that we talked about it than I did. I mean, the ending kind of worked for me, but everything else didn't. So it's a pass.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. The more we talked about it, I was like, trash. Yeah, so I'm not going to recommend it either. There's much better boxing films out there.
Oh, shit. All the Creeds, the first two Rockies, and that's it. All the shit you said before that I've never seen.
There's good ones.
I'm not into boxing movies. I like Rocky, and that's just about it.
Cinderella Man is really good. With Russell Crowe and what's his face as his manager.
I should watch Raging Bull sometime. Isn't that your boy Scorsese?
Yeah, Raging Bull's pretty good.
Maybe we'll do boxing month 1 month.
Oh, that would be good.
Just gonna watch Real Steel again.
Anyways,
That's an unspoken rule, right? We never pick the same movie twice.
Never pick the same movie twice. Just
Good.
like you don't talk about Fight Club. What are we watching next week?
Shit. What the hell are we watching next week?
I got it written down somewhere.
Hold on.
We are watching The Fountain. I'm just kidding.
Oh, God. I will quit. I quit.
We are watching Transformers, the first Transformers
Oh,
film.
another robot movie?
You didn't know it was Robot Month?
If it's robot, what movie would I pick if it were Robot Month?
Terminator 2.
Yep, that's it. I would just pick both Terminators. That would be a hell of a good month.
Yeah. Robot Month might be a theme. We have to put on the list.
Yeah, I'd have to look around, but you'd pick the movie Robots starring Ewan McGregor.
I'd pick iRobot.
I love iRobot. I unironically love that movie. Kicks ass.
What? There's Bicentennial Man. Let's
God,
go, Robin
no.
Williams.
God, no. That movie's horrible. I haven't seen it since the theater, but I remember hating it.
That's a mid-'90s film too.
That movie's trash.
Anyways, we want to give another big shout out to the band Group Project with their song MCK. And hit the show notes to get all the links to their social media. We appreciate them allowing us to use their music here on our podcast. And if you want to follow the podcast, our podcast on Twitter, or not just Twitter, we're everywhere now. You can find us at Movie Draft House. We're on Twitter, we're on TikTok, Instagram, here on YouTube where you're watching us. Be sure to hit the subscribe button when it pops up so you don't miss any future content here on the podcast. And if you want to follow Jeff and be like, hey, bro, what does MCK stand for?
I don't know.
You can find him on Twitter at Podcast by Jeff.
If you want to get in touch with Mark and say, Michael Bay, really? You can do so at I Heard You Liked on Twitter.
Transformers 1 is classic Michael
I
Bay.
remember liking it. I won't deny it.
Classic
I don't
Michael
know if
Bay.
I'll still like it.
We're getting pre-crazy Shia LaBeouf. Let's go.
The second Transformers movie ruined it for me. I need to watch Bumblebee. That's what we should have done. Fucking Bumblebee.
Yeah, well. Did I see that? I don't know. I saw the latest Transformers film and that was trash. But
I got some robot movies. Oh yeah, I'll watch that.
Anyways, Jeff, you got any words of wisdom?
Absolutely none. We'll see you next week.